Hey, welcome in. Today we're working on our career tiny homes and it's the culinary house. So we are finally finishing up the C's. We'll be moving on to the D's next. But for the culinary house, it took me a good minute to figure out how I wanted this house to look because I really wanted a lot of emphasis on the kitchen. Rightfully so, right? This person is a chef. They are in the culinary career, which means they're going to either pursue being a chef or a mixologist. It needed to be apparent that this person loves being in the kitchen, loves cooking, or even hosting get-togethers and using that mixology skill. To become a chef or a mixologist in the culinary career, basically you're going to need your mixology skill, your charisma skill, and of course cooking and gourmet cooking, just depending on the route you take. But to get started, you're going to need mixology and cooking skills. So if you're going to be a mixologist, you want the charisma, the mixologist, and the cooking. And then if you're going to be a chef, you want gourmet cooking, and mixology because that's how you got to get started. Anyways, for this house, I wanted a big, wide open space. I wanted it to feel like the house you go to for parties. This person is going to love people coming over. They're going to want to host. And that was just kind of where we went with this. So I went ahead and moved. We were in New Crest. We are now in Oasis Springs. We're in Oasis Springs. I haven't done a desert home in a long time, and this lot is literally my favorite. You can see the dinosaur from your backyard, and I don't think that you could have anything better. This is the Nookstone lot, and it's literally my favorite. So we are coming back to our roots. Culinary career is a base game career, so it felt great to just have it in a base game world. I wasn't pack friendly. I just kind of go crazy. Hopefully not too crazy, but when it comes to plants, it's really hard because there's like one or two plants that are really good in different packs. And so then I tend to go like pack crazy because I'm trying to use all the pretty plants. It's a struggle, I know, but what are you gonna do? I use a lot of packs. I have been doing a lot of pack friendly builds, just trying to stick to like 3 packs per build. So this one, I felt like I could go a little crazy and it'd be fine. I use the really cute sectional couch that comes with Dream Home Decorator. And then the fireplace is City Living. We've got that beautiful frame TV from the Modern Luxe kit. And then I had to go like Home Chef Hustle all the way for that kitchen. I love that kitchen pack. It's probably one of my favorites. It's just so pretty. And so my take for this house was really a very clean, almost minimalistic, light, neutral colored house. Think desert, you think light colors. You don't want to wear black in the desert. It's hot, you know? I mean, I probably would because I wear a lot of black, but you probably don't. Sounds very hot. Don't even pay attention to the basement room. It stays, but all that stuff goes. It was just a thought, but it didn't fit what I was doing. I wasn't going to have any space for a desk, so I just give yourself a laptop on the counter. You don't need it, but it's nice to have, right? In the backyard, I wanted to make sure that this space felt like party central. A lot of Desert Luxe in the backyard area, the little patio area, if you will. I use the bar and I use a lot of the furniture back there. I even use the grill. It's so pretty, and we're in the desert. Desert Luxe feels just right on par for what we're doing. I have this really nice big pool, but I do shrink it down because what I really wanted to do is put a little greenhouse in the back. And so here we're kind of shrinking it down, and we're going to go ahead and make this really cute little greenhouse. Now I cheated it. I'm Cheaty McCheaterson, and I created almost a complete room, except I left out one wall, built the wall separately, and I just moved that one wall up into the walls, into the room, and made a complete wall without the game realizing that this became a room. So it still has outdoor lighting for the roof. I just made a roof on the actual building and then pulled it all the way over and shrunk it down so that way there is a roof on that little building. I do the same thing with the fence because the game is weird with fencing, and when you put a fence around and you close it off, it wants to like consider those tiles turned into a room. I think that's super weird that it does that. So once again, I created the entire fence, left one section out, built the section separately, and put it back into the wall where it was missing. And the game, it doesn't snap and realize that, hey, this is a room, which it shouldn't be, but whatever. I wanted really pretty windows, something different and that modern feel, a little different than normal. So I used that giant open window that now I'm thinking it's from Eco Lifestyle. I love how big and open it is. I do end up putting a curtain there, but my favorite is that you can kind of just look in and see the kitchen. And this culinary chef career person, this person who is in the culinary career, I imagine would be very proud of their beautiful modern kitchen. And so why wouldn't it be front and center? I don't always do builds where you walk straight into the kitchen, but this person loves to cook and they are the host of the year. They want you to come over. They want to cook for you, show their skills off, show their kitchen off in their beautiful house. So you're walking straight in to the kitchen. I wanted to use columns on this build really bad, but you know what I hate? I hate how the columns don't go up into the roof. Like that they stop right there at the roof line and you can't pull them up. And I know there are some tricks around it, but I couldn't remember what to do for it. So after a long deliberation, I ended up getting rid of the columns. It just wasn't working the way I wanted to. I wanted to use a really pretty stone on the outside of the house, and I do end up using the cottage living stone. I played around with the horse ranch stone for a while because it matched the columns really well. However, I don't keep the columns, so I ended up going with the cottage living stone because it has that border on it. It has the edges that connect and create like its own little column looking thing, whatever you want to call it. Even though it doesn't like work right, you know what I'm talking about. Those edges don't always work right. It's when it comes to it, I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's fine. It looked good everywhere else. That was probably a lot of rambling. Hopefully it made sense what I was trying to say. Using the high school years trellis because I wanted to add greenery. I always do. And I know it's the desert, but this person has their own garden. They grow their own vegetables. They love to cook. I just imagine that they're taking care of these plants and being the best version of themselves and watering these plants and doing whatever they have to do so they don't die in the desert heat. Also, it's The Sims, so it's fine. I do realize I cover up that window with the trellises, but I'm good with that. It was a big window that I put in the bathroom. I do put a curtain there, but I just think it adds a little something extra. I do this little detailing with the spa day, little tiny windows over in the front and make this like wall of windows, and I really like the way it looks. I think it's so pretty. I changed the fence quite a bit because I just wasn't sure what I wanted, and it ends up changing. It just does. First, I have this really big greenhouse. I do shrink it down. It ends up being a 3x3 little house, I believe, little greenhouse. The backyard's not that big, you know what I mean? So I just needed it to be a little smaller, and that's fine. I end up using the vertical wall planters, so that way your sim can go in there and have a little more room than maybe some big square planters or the little pot plants on the floor. You know what I'm talking about, right? Anyways, so there is that really pretty cottage living wallpaper for the house. And as you see, there's no little like column edges on the inside of the bump out. It was a little but it's fine. I don't think it like takes away from it a whole lot. Like it does a little bit, but it's fine. And I think it's a really pretty stone. I love the cottage living wallpapers. And it just felt right for this brick house in the desert. It was going to be a lighter brick. So now I'm shrinking down the greenhouse, like I said, and it just takes me a minute to get it sized the way I want. I get it resituated and move stuff around because I wanted to make sure that this whole place was covered in windows and nothing else felt right to me. I end up just moving things around and it works perfectly, and I'm really happy with the way the greenhouse turns out. I love the thought that this chef wants to grow their own tomatoes, grow their own lettuce, you know, whatever that looks like, that they have their own little place outside for the freshest ingredients possible. So now I'm just getting a little bit of clutter in here. I have the 3 vertical planters, and then we're just using the greenhouse haven kit to add a little bit of clutter and make this kind of fun. It's unnecessary, but I like the way it looks. And that's what matters. I'm happy with it. I'm real happy with this build. I think it's so pretty. Ideally, my roof style would have been platforms, but you know, platforms are a little stinky and they want to add tiles. So we have to kind of go with a more conventional roof, if you will, and that's fine. I just think platforms would have looked so good. I feel that way a lot of times when I'm doing the like tiny homes and I want to do a little more of a modern build, that I think this roof style almost looks a little like mid-century. And so I would have loved to use platforms. Personally, I think that that should be fixed. Like platforms shouldn't be like added rooms. I also couldn't even put this on a foundation because it wanted to raise everything up. Like even the fences, it wanted to raise up a little bit. And I mean, I get it, but I just didn't like the way it looked. And, you know, I just didn't like the way it looked. It would have been nice to like lift it up a little bit on a foundation and not have the fences lift up. And I believe that you can get away with it, but every time I was trying to do it, it was telling me it couldn't connect. I don't know. It's fine. At a certain point, you like keep the peace, right? You're like, well, I'm going to keep my peace of mind and stop messing with this part because I need to do other things for this build. What's really funny is I had a different house here and I had Elphaba here as my test sim for that previous house. So I just came in and bulldozed the house and had them still living here. When I came to playtest this build, apparently while I've been building and playtesting with other sims, she got busy and she was pregnant and went into labor immediately. I'm like trying to playtest this house and she's like having a baby. I have to evict her and her baby because otherwise when I upload this build, the baby's going to be in the house. Which is really weird that babies are considered objects in The Sims. That's a whole other story though. So I have to like delete the dirty diaper and evict her and her baby and put them in a different house because I need to upload this house. I don't think you want to download this house with the baby in it. So yeah. There actually are some screenshots that show the baby like outside because I moved the baby outside so I could take inside screenshots and I noticed you could see the baby outside the door. No problem. I moved the baby back inside. The baby's like not still outside, but I'm apparently going to evict a new mother. Anyways, that's a whole yeah. So the house isn't on the gallery yet, but it will be. It will be playtested. Actually, it has been playtested. She had the baby and then I had her, playtest. So she is good to go. The house is good to go. We just have to do something about her and the baby so I can put this on the gallery. Over here, I end up putting like a collage on the wall and we don't have to watch that. You'll see it. I get rid of the collage. It's like the maximalist inside of me that wants to put a collage on the wall, but that wasn't really the feel that I was going for in this house. I really wanted a more minimalistic look for this modern house. And green also wasn't the vibe. Like I love green and I was like trying to make green happen, but it wasn't the color we were going for. So the rug changes and we end up going for a really pretty like soft blue and burnt orange theme. And when you see it, you'll see it and you'll know. And it looks really good. I'm really happy with it. I use that furry orange rug and I think it's so pretty. I wish it came in more colorful swatches and not so many like pattern swatches. But whatever, it works. So I used the My First Pet Stuff little shade. It fit on that window perfectly and it was in the perfect blue color. It was really nice. So hopefully you don't hate me for that. They did the pack for free for a while. So hopefully you got it for free. I know I paid for it. It is what it is. I like it. I get the controversy and it's all good. But I do see some like objects in there that are good objects. If you don't have it out of solidarity, if you don't have it out of principle, I get it. I want to say that's the only thing I used from the My First Pets. You'll be able to download the house and you'll just be missing a curtain. And that's cool. That's all. Not me turning into a Looney Tune. Anyways, clutter. Oh, clutter. Clutter was a lot of fun. I used a lot of Home Chef Hustle. I even used, oh my gosh, the little ice cream pack. Now that I can't think of it. The one that came with the ice cream. Cool kitchen kit right? Is a kit. No, stuff pack. It's a stuff pack. The Cool Kitchen stuff pack. I use a lot of it to use a little recipe books, and I use like the salt and pepper shakers. I wanted all the kitchen clutter. And what's great is, yes, I have all placed a bunch of stuff on the counters. I even put a little bit in the windowsill. However, look at all the counter space you have. So your sim will be solid. And I mean, I've had Alphabet cook something. So like you're good to go. Now plants. I pulled out all these really desert looking warm weather plants, little palm tree, and I just think they're so pretty, and I kind of spread them around the backyard and it's just solid. Here's me grabbing all the Desert Luxe stuff because it's just so pretty, and it, like I said, it felt very on theme, on point for what I was doing in this backyard. Now, you will see at some point that I switch everything over. The bar and grill just felt very like set there, like I just put them there, and basically they were. But I just didn't like the way it looked. It looked like it didn't have a purpose, that they were literally just set there and that's fine. So I end up just trying it out, and I don't believe I recorded it because I was like, oh, I'll probably hate this and I won't keep it anyways. So I move everything from one side to the other and kind of swap where the seating area is versus the bar and grill. And then I make this whole little bar section with the grill and counters and seats. And oh my gosh, it's so cute. I really love the way it looks. I was loving this little area as is. So I was kind of like a little hesitant to move it. Moved it and literally fell in love with the new layout. Now we are back downstairs into this bedroom, and I don't know what was on my mind trying to make the green and gold work. It's not the theme, right? It's not fitting with any other vibe in the house, which, yes, it was early on that I chose those things. So it is what it is. But after getting kind of like that full vibe of the house, I get down here and I make it happen. I end up using Dream Home Decorator a bunch down here. I didn't feel like I had a whole lot of room for a lot of stuff down here. It is a very small room. It's a 3x4. So I end up deciding to use Dream Home Decorator. And I love the built-ins. I think they're so pretty. I can get them in that solid wood color. Kind of figured out my layout and what that would look like. And then I was able to put a little bit of clutter. I put shoes in the cubes and hung up some clothes. And it was so simple and so easy. And now you have a functional closet in your tiny room. I definitely wanted to keep it neutral down here, light colors, just to fit in with the rest of the house, right? I go ahead and use the Snowy Escape rug, and I love it. Another furry rug, come on now. I play around with them a little bit and change up the way that they are. I make them bigger as well, but I just think it's such a little nice moment. It's a very neutral blue, and it's a good rug. I like it, and I like doubling it and making it bigger. It's a whole moment. I knew I needed something on the wall, but once again, I'm like trying not to be like a maximalist here. I want it to be minimal. I want it to make a statement without it being too much. And so I literally keep it just like this. I do put some plants on the wall, that Dream Home Decorator little modular plant holder, which I will find it in a minute, and I will put it up. Boom. I think it's so pretty. Adds a little more greenery into the house because this person loves their plants. And then we get that nice parenthood mirror, and it's so pretty, and the blue matches everything so well. Now we're getting into the fun part, landscaping. Now, landscaping for the desert area is not how you would landscape for Newcrest. You really can't go in with a ton of plants unless you do like a really thought out like green area. There's ways to do it, but for something a little more simple, I took some stones, sized them up, rocks, sized them up. I put some little like wildflower daisies, popped some agave in there. And I mean, it really made this place look good, and it pulled everything together. And I kind of just did it in two corners, put a tree in the back corner that matches the ones that are in the world. Then we're going in with terrain paint, and terrain paint's super easy for this. There's not a whole lot of layering that I do. I just take like the desert one and the scorched sun, and boom. For a pathway, I wasn't wanting terrain paint. I ended up getting into debug. And that's going to look like BB show live edit objects and BB show hidden objects. And then you're going to scroll a little bit and they have these really pretty little stones. There's 3 of them. I love to make a little pathway with them. I think it adds a pop. It's just a little different. We've got rocks and stones in the environment. And so this little stone pathway just felt so perfect and so right. And I really love the way it turns out. Fixing up the terrain paint, and because I love that stone pathway so much, I take that wide open space out from the gate on the other side and we go back into debug and do the stone again. But we are basically done. This is the last thing I do, and then I do some terrain paint. So I think it's time we go ahead and jump into the screenshots. I really had so much fun doing this build. It's such a pretty vibe. It's planty and modern, just a fun place that you can host lots of gatherings and lots of parties. I just love it so much. If you want this build for yourself, you can get it off the gallery. My EA ID is katxthrash. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you can keep coming back for more. We are officially out of the seas. Next up is D for detective. I hope you have a great night wherever you are. Bye, y'all.